Last year, the world's leading climate and energy scientists unanimously agreed that all fossil fuel expansion must stop immediately to avoid a disastrous temperature increase by the end of this century. But the world's biggest banks continue to provide billions for expanding fossil fuel extraction in some of the most important ecosystems on the planet, like the Amazon rainforest. The Amazon regulates global temperatures and serves the world's food and water systems. It's home to millions of indigenous peoples from hundreds of distinct cultures. But the Amazon rainforest is at a tipping point. In some areas, it is already changing from a lush carbon sink to a vast savanna, putting out more carbon than it absorbs. If we are to prevent it from disappearing into smoke and ash, we must protect 80% of the rainforest by 2025. The Amazon is the last place on Earth that oil expansion should be taking place. But thanks to banks like Citi, that's exactly what's been happening. Last year, Ecuador's President Guillermo Lasso pledged to double oil production in the Ecuadorian Amazon, starting by expanding extraction in Yasuni National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and home to indigenous peoples living in voluntary isolation. State-run oil company Petroecuador is drilling for oil there. Lasso also plans to auction off 7.5 million acres of pristine rainforest and the titled territories of 7 indigenous nationalities for new oil exploration without their consent.
This pipeline leads directly into the Yasuni National Park. This noise is constant, 365 days a year.
Nemu Gikita is of the Waurani people and lives in Yasuni. She has been fighting oil extraction in her territory for years.
These oil and mineral companies are destroying our land, and they leave only contamination, sickness, and death.
Citi is directly tied to the oil expansion in Nemo's home. It's the top financier of state-run oil companies operating in the Amazon, including Petroecuador. We estimate that Citi has provided at least $40 billion of financing and investment to oil and gas companies with operations in the Amazon.
For centuries, indigenous peoples have been responsible for the preservation of the largest forest on the planet. We are being killed for defending our home. An Amazon biome-wide exclusion of all oil and gas finance and investment, aimed at stopping oil expansion in the most biodiverse place on the planet, will keep the Amazon rainforest off the precipice of a disastrous ecological tipping point.
Indigenous peoples of the Amazon have resisted oil drilling in their territories for years. It's a gateway to deforestation and brings logging, violence, land invasions, and toxic spills, year after year.
US and European banks are every day financing and investing in the Amazon destruction. They're investing in the killing of the Amazon and in the killing of the people. There are people actually responsible for this, and we need to hold them accountable.
Citi's leadership has made lots of promises about net zero, but they've taken no action to stop oil and gas exploitation in the Amazon. People are fed up with Citi's hypocrisy. If banks can pledge not to drill for oil in the Arctic, they can pledge not to drill for oil in the Amazon. So what's next? Tell Citi and the world's leading banks to exit Amazon oil and gas now. Go to exitamazonoilandgas.org to join the fight.